We advise the opinions and views of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Willkommen in Deutschland, Land der Ideen.
Bienvenidos en Alemania, país de las ideas.
Benvenuti in Germania, paese delle idee.
Welcome to Germany, land of ideas.
Willkommen in Deutschland, Land der Ideen.
Willkommen in Deutschland, Land der Ideen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Philippines Uncut. I'm Buddy Cunanan. And welcome to the first episode of Philippines Uncut for the new year 2012. And what better way to kick off the new year by talking about friendship or amity. And in this case, the Philippines' friendship with a country that's especially close to my heart, and that is Germany. And so on the show tonight, you're going to learn about Germany, more about Germany, and about a very interesting organization called the German Club, and how the German community is bringing the Philippines and Germany closer together. And joining us now on the show is Mr. Michael Scheile, the president of the German Club Manila. Willkommen und guten Abend, Herr Scheile. Michael?
Thank you.
Ja, ich bin sehr froh, dass Sie meine Einladung akzeptiert haben.
Ja, vielen Dank und grüß Gott.
Aber wir müssen auf Englisch sprechen. Meine Fernsehsendung ist auf Englisch und ein bisschen auf Philippines, Tagalog.
I'll try my best.
All right, okay. So, it's such a pleasure to have you here, and Happy New Year.
Thank you, same to you.
Yes, and I've been wanting to feature the German Club for a very long time because it's such an interesting organization. This club that you head. Tell us a bit about the German Club, Michael.
Yeah, the German Club actually was founded 1906 by a group of Germans which were in a reading club before. That means they read books together in a library, and then they decided to also go into the food and have a drink. So the German Club was founded at that time. We had a big house, United Nations Avenue, with garden, pool. But due to some changes during the Second World War, we had to move out, and since about 30 plus years in Rufino Street, and celebrate actually next week our 106th birthday.
Wow. So from Manila, you moved now to your home in Makati City, which is not very far actually from here, from the home of GNN. It's a stone's throw away, in the same area. And this is now the permanent residence of the German Club Manila.
Yeah, the German club bought the premises slightly over 30 years ago. And we're actually quite happy there. Actually, we want to expand a little bit. But
is there room for expansion?
We hope so. We hope so. But we're always open to new ideas. But basically, we own that area. We're happy there. It's a very central location for our members, who about 1/3 is Germans, 1/3 Filipino, and 1/3 all other nationalities.
Mixed nationalities.
About 20 different nationalities.
Yes.
So,
now you mentioned 106th anniversary next week.
Yeah.
You said, and that's wow. When you think about a club, this must be one of the oldest clubs in the country, if not the region.
we are definitely in Southeast Asia the oldest German club. We think even in Asia, but we are not 100% sure. In the Philippines, we are definitely one of two oldest clubs. So Club Hispaniola,
Filipino
Casino Filipino, right?
in Manila, yes.
Yeah, depending on what year you take, you take the reading club which I mentioned, or you take the founding date of the German club, depending on what you take. But let's leave it. We are here since quite a while.
Is this a usual thing for Germans around the world to form their clubs in different parts of the world where they happen to reside or they've migrated to? Is this a usual thing for Germans to do?
Yeah, Germans like these clubs and institutions where they get together for sport, for cultural, for any kind of interest, right? So here, as I mentioned, was a reading interest. So then the interest for, if you read, you need to eat something. If you eat something, you want to drink something. So sort of, it developed. But Germans basically like to play football, any sport, to art. Like tonight we have an opening of an art exhibition in the club. There immediately groups form. So people with same interest or same background, they get together, of course, because they're interested in the same thing. Right?
And there also must be that connection with Germany that many Germans want to maintain, that homesickness, despite the fact that some of you may have lived in a certain place for many, many years. You still feel that attachment to the fatherland. Vaterland, that's Vaterland, right?
Yeah, basically, I mean, what we like now, being a club, a members club, you just can't walk in, so you have to be a member to enjoy the benefits. But although most of us, for me, for example, I love Asian food, I love Filipino food, but I also love a German lentil soup or a schnitzel or these things. So, but nowadays a lot of restaurants they try to please the local taste, whereas we try to make it really German. Because our Filipino members, they don't come to the German club to enjoy pork knuckle, Filipino-German style. If they want crispy pata, then there are other places which do it better.
Of course.
But for us, we do it pork knuckle German style. So that was also our Filipino members appreciate that it's not this adjust to the local taste, but we are trying to keep the German taste. Although all our kitchen staff, the chef is since 32 years with us. We don't have a German chef. All Filipinos, so that means they cook like my mother did.
So it's really as authentic as you can get it.
Yeah, that's right.
And what is German cuisine? Because when people talk about German cuisine, what comes to mind immediately are sausages, which seem to be, when you say German food, that's it. German food, sausages. But then you have this menu of the German club here, and I open it, and like there's a whole lot of different, dishes around. I mean, it's...
Yeah, basically, I mean,
what would be,
Germany was before not known for fine dining, like French food or like Japanese food or like Chinese food. So Germany, especially in Bavaria, where I'm from, it's more hearty food, rich food. That's why we are all a bit bigger, right? But in the German club, we try to concentrate on home-cooked food, not on fine dining. So by purpose, we concentrate on the home-cooked things like, herring was before a poor man's dish. Nowadays, herring is a fish. There are not many left. It's now fine dining.
Of course.
And I have to admit, it's not imported like most people think. It's actually bangus. So, we prepare the bangus the German style.
So the herring that you serve in the German club, don't tell me that's really bangus.
It's bangus, huh?
It's bangus.
It's bangus, huh?
I thought you fly it all the way from Germany and
No.
from the Nordsee.
Nope. That's why I'm saying we use as far as possible local ingredients. There's some which you cannot, like we have a lentil soup where we need to import. But most of the food we're having here is even the sausages. The sausages are coming from a company here in the Philippines which supplies all hotels, all top resorts, and it's made here. It's not imported. We import herring when we have one of our events called Hamburg Night. Then we
For
import
special
it.
events.
For one event only. And then
Yeah.
after the event you have the food. But if you look at the menu, it's here, local food, local ingredients, just prepared the German way. You can prepare it differently than you have bangus.
Or another thing I know that you guys import, especially, and you would appreciate this being from the south of Germany, where Spargel, or the big,
Right.
it's a big thing, asparagus for you viewers watching. Asparagus is a big thing in the
That's right,
spring,
yeah, yeah.
and it's a massive, I've never seen so much asparagus being eaten in one place as
Yeah.
in southern Germany. And I know that German club apparently imports some asparagus.
Yeah, okay, I mean, you get asparagus here, no problem, but here it's more a vegetable. In Germany, it's really a main dish. So the real asparagus fans, they can live on 300 gram, which is standard size, asparagus, some boiled potatoes, and that's it. Some sauce, that's it. You can have some smoked ham or some pork chop or some salmon, but asparagus is people call us, say, when do you get the delivery? And then they come the same day the asparagus is delivered, because it comes only once a year.
Of course.
For about 2-3 weeks, and that's it.
That's it, yes. What about your beer? Where does your beer come from?
From San Miguel. We should not make advertisement, but
Well, that's a Philippine beer, huh?
yeah. So most of our beer, of course, is San Miguel. We have some German beers because you don't have certain types of beer, like the wheat beer or the German kind of pills. We have these beers, of course, in the club, but due to the distance, it's first of all expensive, and second, beer, according to German or Bavarian purity law, is not allowed to have any chemicals inside. So no stabilizers, no nothing.
Wow.
That means it loses a little of its taste over that distance.
Yes, yes. And the conditions maybe
Right.
it
Right.
gets heated up in the
Right.
containers and all that.
So
Yes.
that's why, I mean, sure, I like a wheat beer once in a while, but I like local beers too.
Yes, yes.
Not because imported beer is 3-4 times more expensive, but it tastes great.
You know, this is an education in beer. No wonder the wheat beer I've tasted here somehow doesn't taste the same way as if you would buy it
Right.
in the Hofbräuhaus in
Right,
München.
right, correct.
A little
Right.
bit different,
Yeah,
no?
yeah,
So
yeah.
not
We're
as
not-
fresh.
We're now trying to work with one of the big brewers here for the next Oktoberfest to develop a local Oktoberfest beer for the Oktoberfest,
Nice.
which is our biggest event.
Nice.
Right? So we are working on that because importing beer from Germany, as I said, taste-wise, price-wise, and the beer here is great.
Yes. Now we're flashing some photos. This is actually this is from the Oktoberfest, I
Yeah.
think, and 2011, your latest one, and I heard was very successful. It was
Yeah.
held at the Sofitel, I think.
Yeah.
And how many people did you have attend this? At least 1,000, maybe.
This year we had 3 evenings, and on Sunday it was for lunch and dinner. But the dinner was mainly for Sofitel stuff, so we had a total of about
Look at that. And that's that big mug that you see there. That is a mass, right?
yeah,
a
actually
1 liter mug.
for the drinking competition it's a 1 liter mug, but normally we have this kind of mugs here because we refill it constantly. So in a 1 liter mug you really have to. These are the 1 liter mugs. So
And it's
there
very
you really have to
typical
drink
Southern
from.
German, no?
That
Very
is-
typical.
You go in a beer garden or Oktoberfest in Munich, you get that size of glass, right?
And then you had some contests, some dirndl
yeah, yeah.
costume
Yeah.
contests, and
For the ladies,
And
we have some
raffles,
nice
excellent.
raffle tickets and raffle
this
prices.
must be a big earner for you. This Oktoberfest, it must generate considerable revenues for the club because in the Philippines, when Oktoberfest rolls in, and the Philippines is a beer drinking culture, you always hear Oktoberfest here, Oktoberfest there. But the German club's Oktoberfest is the Oktoberfest to be in Manila.
Okay, we do it. That was the 73rd Oktoberfest the German club did in the Philippines, so
okay.
it's also a pretty long tradition. And we are trying to bring it back to the original Oktoberfest in Munich. That means, sure, we have our raffle, we have our beer drinking, we have our speeches, But we want to bring it back where it was. That's why it's decorated like in tent in the Oktoberfest, and we are slowly getting there. So we have now 3 evenings, more or less 4 evenings, with almost 5,000 people. So sure, there's some revenue, but the German club is pretty strong, which most members unfortunately don't know, in welfare. So we have a certain percentage of the revenue going to welfare. As a non-stock, non-profit organization, we are not supposed to make profit. So if we're doing well in 1 year, we can give more to welfare. If we are not doing well, we can give less.
So it's a way of giving back to the community.
Right, so then certain revenue goes to our staff, because as a members club, we are not supporting tipping policy in the club. You just sign your chit.
Have you guys ever thought of opening the club to the public? Maybe opening to really spread, German cuisine and German culture. Has that been an option to open it ever?
Not the club as such, because we have limited facilities. We have basically several dining areas, and that's it. So we cannot cater to the public that you walk in, have a meal. We have dues, which the members pay, but what we are presently focusing on is that we do more into catering. Because we realize a lot of members are interested that if they have at home or in the company a function, that they get German food delivered, or they have a chef, one of our cooks or a chef at their place preparing the food. So this is now getting more and more popular. So we are trying, and we just recently hired an Austrian lady to take care mainly of this. And the interest so far is very good.
Absolutely. I mean, for you to cater, to have a German cuisine catered function, it's something different. Usually it's Spanish, Filipino, or Chinese, but this adds a little bit of a variety to your local catering scene.
Exactly. So we're slowly getting more and more into it. So it looks like we're on the right track. We had a brand new kitchen, which cost us a lot of money. So you see some of the foods, like this is
lovely
liver, which even in Germany, some of these meals, you don't get them in Germany in a normal restaurant anymore, because they are home cooked and not considered fancy enough. But that's what people here.
So this is a typical, let's say, buffet spread, like a cocktail spread.
Yeah, that's a cocktail. That's our chef for 32 years. He's chef in the German club.
Wow. Trained in the Philippines. Huh?
Trained here. He was trained by people visiting, by members who say they can make this dish. Okay, the sausage now, very well. So they teach them.
The staple. And I think you have what are these? These are like shish kebab or...
yeah, that's not typical German, but of course we have also different kind of buffets. If somebody wants this kind of shish kebab, then...
So it's not just German food, you can also offer other things.
Sure, we can.
Excellent. Okay, let's talk about costs. Are the costs competitive with other caterers? Is it more expensive to cater a German style function?
I don't think so, because basically we use local ingredients, as I said, and depending on what you want. If you want fancy, like you want salmon, you want steak, of course you pay more. It's always depending on what you want. If you like what we'll be talking about later is a football match in Bilibid, we will do home cooked food and not fancy. Home cooked food where we think we are good and where we are strong. And then I think the charges are very reasonable. In the beer, as a member, you pay 70 pesos for one beer.
That's very reasonable.
You go to a similar place, I think you pay more. Right? So that's why we are non-stock, non-profit. We try to keep it reasonable and spend rather money in welfare projects like the recent Sendong in Cagayan de Oro, or National Children's Hospital, or all these foundations or institutions which have a relationship to Germany. And of course give it back to the members by Christmas parties for the members free, where you get the goose imported, one of the very few items. So we try to balance. We don't make loss, although this year we will due to the renovation of the kitchen, but long term it should be plus minus.
Excellent. And when we come back for our second segment, I really want to talk about this very exciting welfare projects you have, especially the one in cooperation with the new Bilibid prison. The football game, which is coming up very soon.
Very exciting.
So guys, don't go away, because in a few moments, Philippines Uncut returns with more of Germany and the new Bilibid prison. We'll be back.
na lang, improvised transformer ang tawag nila. Pero actually, ito magnetic transformer, no? Tapos, ito si Glisser magsilang, lumaya ito doon sa panahon ni Ramos. 1965. Pinortrait niya yung mukha ni President Ramos. Tapos nabigyan niya siya ng absolute pardon.
Karamihan sa amin, meron kaming konting experience sa arts. Pero nung makita namin yun, i-convert namin, pinustro lang namin. Then, ang ginagawa namin po ngayon, sinishare naman namin sa kapwa namin bilang it is also a curriculum sa school. Meron kaming kurso na wood burning din. Ngayon po, ang ginagawa namin, dahil nga in-adapt ng bureau sa eskwelahan na ginawa namin curriculum, tinuturo namin din sa kapwa inmates namin.
Yan, isa sa purpose ng grupo namin yan na yung mga talented na mga artist dito sa loob, yung ma-expose ba yung mga trabaho. Kasi sa amin, iniisip namin na habang nakakulong kami dito, makita yung rehabilitation process habang nandito kami, yung ma-expose doon sa malaya ba yung mga ginagawa namin na kami. Hindi porket nakakulong nang dahil doon sa kasamaan ng mga nagawa, may pagbabago din. Isa doon sa mga proseso ng arts na yun.
Welcome back to Philippines Uncut. I'm Buddy Cunanan, and tonight's topic is German-Philippine friendship. And that video you watched was about an art project, an art program in the New Bilibid prison for inmate rehabilitation. And perfect video because very apt as we are now welcoming on the show, Mikhail is still here, but we're welcoming the show Attorney Carl Miranda, who is an Assistant Solicitor General and a volunteer in the school inside the New Bilibid prisons, and he is here to talk about the different projects in the prison, especially the one in which the German club is participating in, which is a football match. Welcome to the show, Carl, and glad to have you on board.
Yeah, thank you, buddy, for having us.
Yes. Now, let's talk about your work